During a 2019 TED Talk, human rights activist Yeonmi Park explained how North Korea went from being a free country to a totalitarian state in just 3 generations. She escaped North Korea when she was 13 years old, and now, as a tiny, soft-spoken, kind-hearted young woman, speaks all over America, giving heartfelt warnings about the need to stand for human rights. In this particular talk, she focused heavily on the way that changes in language are used to intentionally bring about changes in thought. In Korea, she explains, the word love has only one meaning: loyalty to the dear mother party. There's no word for romantic or brotherly love. If you don't know the words, she warns, you don't even understand the concept. Therefore, you don't even realize the concept is even a possibility. She goes on to explain that North Korea has eliminated the word I, so they don't even have the capacity to understand what individual means. They always use we. Yeonmi confesses that everything must be taught, including compassion. As a child in North Korea, she saw people dying and dead on the streets and felt nothing. Not because she was a psychopath, but because she never learned the concept of compassion. Only after learning the words and concepts compassion, empathy, and sympathy can she now feel them. If you've never learned to think critically, you simply see what you're told to see, speak what you're told to speak, think what you are told to think, and your emotions are limited to the emotions to which you have been exposed. This talk reminded me of the ongoing debate among members of the Unified Development Ordinance Advisory Committee about the use of the term single-family home versus single-unit home. I understand that the suggested change from single-family to single-unit results, on its surface, from a desire to implement more equitable language by defining dwellings by form rather than function. However, if we insist upon removing relationship terms from our language, at some point, a generation will arise without knowledge that loving and supportive families facilitate the continuation of mankind. If we want to build strong, self-sustaining communities, we really should honor and support the family, the very structure from which that stability is derived. Who benefits when we prioritize equitable language that discusses the form of a structure over life-giving language that describes the inhabitants of that structure? Especially when that structure houses the precious building block for the continuation of human civilization. I'll give you an example. If a road needed to be widened and 12 homes had to be removed in order for the project to go forward, it would be a lot easier for the government to justify tearing down 12 single-unit homes than it would be to justify uprooting and relocating 12 single-family homes. Language matters, because people matter and the lives that they build matter. Relationships between mothers, fathers, sons, siblings, and grandmothers matter. Units don't. The term unit is, in reality, not equitable. It's simply a word choice that is derived from an animosity toward humanity. And I'm not saying that you have chosen it for this reason, but someone, somewhere along the hierarchy has. A family is a group of 2 or more persons related by birth, marriage, or adoption. Contractors build single-family homes with family lifestyles in mind. The form of the home is determined by the way family life functions. It's possible for unrelated parties to live in a home that was designed for a family. However, it's far less common. And the home remains a single-family home, even when occupied by unrelated parties. Calling these homes units won't clarify anything, but it will change the way we communicate and subsequently think about the relationships fostered in these homes. Do you remember Newspeak from George Orwell's novel 1984? It was published in 1949. It's not a fairy tale. It's a warning. In this dystopian novel, Newspeak is the fictional language of Oceania, a totalitarian superstate. Wikipedia summarizes, to meet the ideological requirements of socialism in Oceania, the party created Newspeak, which is a controlled language of simplified grammar and restricted vocabulary designed to limit the individual person's ability to think critically or to articulate subversive concepts such as personal identity, self-expression, and free will. In Oceania, such thoughts are thought crimes that contradict orthodoxy. I know you are being pressured to incorporate Newspeak into our city ordinances. I know the lawyers and scholars appear to be making a decent argument that equity should be held in higher regard than the families that gave birth to us. But you are being lied to. The motives for the changes are clear, even if the lawyers and scholars don't realize it. The signs are everywhere for those willing to hear the warnings from people like Yunomi, who have the perspective of having escaped the things that we are currently being lured into. In America, government exists solely to protect the rights of we the people. Governments should really be rooting for the continuation of mankind. They should be elevating and honoring family and using legislation to facilitate procreation. We love to feel that we're doing our part to protect the planet, and we certainly love to protect the animals. Yet we insist upon killing our babies in our wombs, promoting relationships that cannot lead to the production of a future generation, and legislating ourselves out of existence. Is mankind suicidal? Or is there a murderous top-down agenda being pushed that benefits from legislating the death of the family? All we have to do is say no to this newspeak, but we have to do it before the oppressive, totalitarian powers that are opposed to the continuation of free people, like the ones who have overtaken North Korea in just 3 generations, take away our words. Because after the words are gone, the thoughts will soon be gone, and we won't have the vocabulary or the conceptual understanding to articulate the need for family to be respected and protected. This reprogramming happens faster than you can imagine. Lately, we're seeing a push to inaccurately label our constitutional republic as a democracy. This push is purposeful. Democracies are ruled by the emotions of an impassioned mob. Republics are ruled by reason, and constitutional republics are ruled by reasonable, intentional men who understand that it is their honor and duty to protect God-given individual liberties in spite of the mandates of tyrants or the screeching of the mob. If the powers that be can convince Americans that majority rules, all they have to do is incite the mob for our Constitution to be ignored. And that's exactly what they have been fairly successful in doing over the last few years. So I will spend my days echoing the warnings of people like Yunomi, so that you might come to understand the danger of removing life-giving relationship language from our ordinances, and instead focus your energy on removing, in their entirety, ordinances that violate the inalienable rights of the people, as documented by our state and federal constitutions, which each of you took an oath to uphold before taking your seats. It is crucial that government officials take their oaths seriously. It is crucial that they read and study the documents they have sworn to uphold. Our future depends upon all of us knowing, implementing, and upholding the truths contained in these documents. Clinging to the truths of our founding documents will be the only thing that keep us from opening ourselves to tyranny. Men of every color and creed are corrupted by power, but we don't have to succumb to this corruption. Our divinely inspired founding documents contain the power to set us free, should we choose to rely upon them once again. The future of our nation will be determined by the way that we respond to this call.